At John chapter 5, we can find an account of an individual who had been sick for 38 years. Starting at verse 5, "And a certain man was there, who had been 38 years in sickness. When Jesus saw him lying and knew that he had already been there a long time, he says to him, 'Do you wish to become healthy?' The sick man answered him, 'Lord, I do not have a man that he might put me in the pool whenever the water is disturbed. But while I am coming, another is going down before me.' Jesus says to him, 'Arise, lift up your pallet and walk.' And immediately the man became healthy and lifted up his pallet and walked. Now on that day it was the Sabbath." From this passage we see a wonderful healing that Jesus performed. But for today I'd like to take a look at another command that Jesus gives at verse 14. "After these things, Jesus finds him in the temple and said to him, 'Behold, you have become healthy. Sin no longer,' in order that a worse thing might not happen to you." This command, "sin no longer," is also found in John chapter 8, when Jesus speaks to the woman that was caught in adultery. Verses 10 and 11 state, "And Jesus stood erect and said to her, 'Woman, where are your accusers? Did no one condemn you?' And she said, 'No one, Lord.' And Jesus said, 'Neither do I judge you. Go onward. Sin no longer from hereafter.'" So from this, Jesus says the same command to these two individuals. And it is quite apparent for Christians and non-Christians that we all have to face various temptations. We all struggle with lust and desire and so on. But let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, where Paul speaks to the Corinthians. And he says, "No temptation has taken you except common human temptations. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able to undergo. But together with the temptation, He will also make an outlet." And sometimes that outlet involves fleeing from sins. And for the Corinthian brethren, it was clearly the need to flee from idolatry. Maybe that was the outlet that they needed to go through, you could say. Because in verse 14 we're told, "Hence, my beloved, flee from idolatry." In the 6th chapter of the same letter, Paul warns that the unrighteous will not inherit the kingdom of God. And also in verses 9 through 11, Paul makes mention of various sins. Many of them are sexual, such as fornication, adultery, homosexuality. But others are also things like greediness, being a thief, being a drunkard. And he reminds them that these things were things that they once did, but they were bathed, but they were sanctified, and so on. If we look in verses 17 and 18 of this chapter, we're told, "But he who is joined to the Lord is one spirit. Flee fornication. Every sin, whatever a man practices, is outside the body. But he who fornicates sins toward his own body." Did you notice that? In chapter 6 and chapter 10, that Paul told them to flee from various sins. Jesus told those two individuals in John chapter 5 and chapter 8 to sin no longer. I urge you, whatever your sin is, please do not continue doing it. Flee from it and sin no longer. Thank you very much for your consideration of this, and have a nice day.